So there's this weird trend in the 70s, especially the early 70s. We don't see it as much in this box set because they skip over some as they get further into the decade. But RCA would start alternating between new album and compilation. New album, compilation. And we've already started to see that pattern. We had... back in Memphis, and I was at the International, and then Let's Be Friends, and then On Stage, and then Almost in Love, alternating with between RCA, the main label, and Camden. This was still kind of going through what was left in the archives, and putting out the remaining bits of material from the 67 to 69 period. And much like Let's Be Friends, it's got a couple songs from the 69 sessions. Or actually it just has one. It has My Little Friend. Well, no, Rubberneckin'. I always forget that Rubberneckin' is from the 69 American studio sessions, because it was in the movie Change of Habit. And that's... We'll get to it when we get to Change of Habit, but that story is fascinating in and of itself. So My Little Friend and Rubberneckin' are from 69. And then the rest... a few of these are from Live a Little, Love a Little, A Little Less Conversation. It's the one everyone knows. Edge of Reality is another one, and Almost in Love are the other two from Live a Little, Love a Little. Couple more country-fied songs. U.S. Mail, Charo, Stay Away, which is the opening song from Stay Away Joe. It's different from Stay Away Joe. It's actually based on Greensleeves. And there's actually a little bit of overlap with Double Trouble and this album. There's Long-Legged Girl with the Short Dress song is on this album, and it's on that album in this box set. So we actually get two versions of that song. That's actually the same version, but this is another one of those albums. Shouldn't be as good as it is, and shouldn't work as well as it does, but because it's concentrated down to a three-year period, and the song choices are pretty well consistent. Not as much as you would get if it was all from the same session or all from a certain theme. But for the most part, it actually works pretty well. It's definitely a lot trendier for 1970 when this came out than some of the Camden releases that are yet to come. Especially when you throw in Clean Up Your Own Backyard and Little Less Conversation and Rubberneckin'. This, I would actually argue, I would have loved to see, back in the early 2000s, when they were doing remixes of Elvis's music, they did Little Less Conversation, Rubberneckin'. There was one that didn't really ever get released, which was I Got Stung. Paul Oakenfold, who did Rubberneckin', did a remix of that. But when they were doing that phase, I really would have liked to have actually seen a remix version of this whole album, or just like a reinterpretation with modern sensibilities, because all of these songs, except for maybe Long-Legged Girl with a Short Dress song, would I think lend themselves pretty well to, and maybe even that one, if you found the right producer, could do a neat remix of each of these songs, or a reimagining of the arrangements. I think that would be really cool. But Almost in Love, it's an alright album. A few of the songs in particular stand out, but there are weaker parts. Long-Legged Girl, My Little Friend is not as good, even though it's from the 69 sessions. It's definitely one of the weaker ones, and I understand why it ended up on this one instead of appearing on the other albums. It's not quite as strong. So yeah, it's not a bad album. It's not a great album. And in fact is only more notable in retrospect, because it has A Little Less Conversation and Rubberneckin', which later became bigger hits once they were remixed. Otherwise, they mostly were forgotten, and would have languished on this album for forever. But it's not bad. Um, definitely worth a spin, but not one that you would necessarily go back to time and time and time and time again. You would just pick out like a few songs that would be your favorites. So that's Almost in Love.